You ever did that? You ever did this? It may take you a while to find it on, like, say, Google search or your favorite search engine. You ever looked up some old actual letters where maybe the wife had wrote to her family? You ever looked up letters like that? Oh my God! Today, in today's world, when we write an email, oh, we took a trip, we had a wonderful time. Not in the 1880s. I think one was dated. I read several. One was dated as actual real letters, 1886. It seemed like it was May 2nd, 1880, and I'm remembering back to 2006. 1886. I think it was May 2nd. This lady was writing to her family, and her kids was in bed sick with a head cold. Boy, back then you got a head cold. Boy, that was bad news. Anyway, her husband was gone. She mentioned her husband's name. He won't be back for several days because of his job. Took him away. Of course, today is a car, and he'd be home that evening. But horse and buggy, 10 miles away, you stayed all night. So he was going to be gone in her letter she wrote, he'll be gone for 3 or 4 days. I read her whole letter. It was just nothing but, you could tell the way she's writing it, she was nothing but boredom. Today, it's, how was your trip? Our trip was great. Not back then. Every word. It was a pretty long letter. You could just sense the boredom. Total mind-numbing boredom in her handwriting. You could sense it. Oh, it was even hard to read her letter. It really was, You could tell she was tired from her chores she did. You could tell she was wore out. There was no joy in her letter at all. It was more sadness. Try that. Look it up. See if you can find a letter from about that era. Mine, like I said, was 1886. Actual letter, real letters, pioneer ladies wrote, to the families. Somehow the family saved them. You know how it goes, and they just happened to be saved. It was real letters, and it was sad to read those letters. In her handwriting was nothing but mind-numbing boredom. You could tell the way she was writing that she was bored out of her skull. Today, totally different world. So 1886, say from 2006, is too early for me to count. That'd be 14. It'd be what, 120 years? Think 120 years later, as she's writing that letter in 1886, 120 years later, I would be reading that letter on my laptop screen. I tell you what, this world has come a long, long, long way.